guys, it's 7 o'clock on a Saturday, so that means it's time to go live. Alright, let me just pop this chat out. I can see who's here. I know there's lots and lots of people in here already. Whoops, I've lost my chat window. Good grief. Bear with me, guys. Alright, here we go. I can see Dawn and Kim and Rosalind. Hi, guys. Julie, Leanne, Di, Stephen, Sue. Good to see you, Sue. Who else we got? Joe, Donna, Shirley, Daryl. Good grief. You've all been busy. Look at yous. Cooled off to 38 degrees. Yeah, I don't even know what the temperature is here at the moment. I don't want to know.
Hot.
Yeah, hot. Hope everybody is staying well hydrated and cool as they can. I had to give up on the work shed early. It was just too hot down there. Hi, Anthea. Good to see you. What's the matter, Susie? What's that face for? The romper room magic mirrors. Don't know what you're talking about.
Sounds good though. Oh, she used to say hi to everyone through the magic mirror.
Okay, because I never got romper room.
Oh, okay. No, I know exactly what she's talking about.
Living in the country. Living in the country, not having access to these fancy schmancy kids shows. Watching the stars get thrashed by thunder. Oh, did I miss you, Susie, darling? Good grief. Sorry about that. Hi, Susie. Strap my arm and go sword fighting today. Too hot though, Stephen? Oh, it's not your age, Ray. It's just where I grew up in Coffs Harbour, we didn't have anything as fancy as that. That was a morning show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the first time
Channel 7.
I think the first time I ever saw that was when I came down to Sydney as a teenager and watched it. You chose not to? Yeah, smart choice, Stephen. Really smart choice in this weather.
Bye, darling.
All right. I'm pleased to see everybody is here. Everybody that matters, right? All right, so another fairly easy one for you guys this week. I thought we'd ease both you and me back into doing these weekly live sessions. So we're doing Ruffles, which is a helm variation. And I'm guessing the reason why it's got that name is the edging on it. It gives it sort of a lacy type look. Chris thought it looked like a garter. That's what you said, didn't you? Look like a garter. All right. Well, if everybody's ready, I might pop over to the other camera and make a start on it. All right, so I've got some lovely, lovely pieces to show you in our different gauges. Oh, hi, Linda. No, Kylie, you're not too late. Just in time. You just missed the shenanigans, that's all. All right, so this is 14 gauge. So for those that don't know, when I say gauge, I'm talking in AWG. So 14 gauge or 1.6 millimeter. So the big rings that you can see here are 9.5 mil ID. The smaller rings along the edges are 4.75 mil, and our AA rings are 1/4 inch or 6.35 mils. So that's a huge, huge chunky bracelet. Yeah, if that's your thing, that's the gauge you should go for. But it is very large and very heavy. I'd also suggest making it slightly longer than you're normally used to. With it being so thick, the 8 inch, or in this case 8 inches, doesn't go as far as it normally would around your wrist. Alright, so 16 gauge or 1.2 mil, 7.5 mil are the big rings, 3.5 are the rings on the outside, and for the AA I used 3/16 or 4.76. Not too bad a size, a little bit wide still for my tastes, but you know, it's not a bad looking bracelet. 18 gauge or 1.0 mil. Our big rings are 6. Our small rings are 3 mil ID, and the AA is 18 gauge 5/32 or 3.97. I believe that's the size I sent out with the kits. I quite like that size. So nice and pretty as a bracelet, but not quite as crazy to do as the 20 gauge. The 20 gauge or 0.8 mil, the big rings are 4.75. And the tiny rings on the outside are 2.5 mil, and our AA rings are 1/8 or 3.1 mil ID. So that's it across all gauges. 20 gauge and 18 gauge would have to be my favourite bracelets. They're very, very pretty. The 14 gauge is just too wide for my liking, but if you're in for a cuff, that would be the one. Which one do you like, Shirley? Yeah, the 18 gauge does look lovely. As I said, I believe that's a shocking memory. I believe that's the size I sent out to our subscribers because it was such a pretty combination without it being, you know, taking forever that the 20 gauge took. Alrighty, we'll make a start then. So as usual, I will be demonstrating in the 14 gauge so you guys can see what I'm doing. So to start with, we're going to make our helm piece. So there's a couple of different ways of doing helm, and this is just the way I prefer to do it. So start with a couple of closed rings of your largest size, in this case the 9.5 mil ID, and put a twist tie so you've got a little handle and it holds those rings in place. I don't know, Sharon, about 40 gauge as a choker. I don't wear them myself. It is very wide. It's about, let me pull a ruler out. If I can find a ruler. Here we go. So 14 gauge one is about 2.7 centimeters wide, nearly 3 centimeters wide. So it's a really wide cuff. All right, so back to the weave. Looser. Yeah, you could probably go a little bit tighter in the side rings. I wouldn't go tighter in the helm, Debbie. Those sizes work really well for the helm. Could have gone down to maybe a 4.5 or something in the side rings. 4.75 is the smallest I have cut. Once you start getting too much smaller than that in 14 gauge, it does start to get a little difficult to work with, so I chose not to go down that small. It still gives the lacy look, the ruffled look on the edges. Okay, so to start with helm, 2 closed rings of your large rings, twist tie through it, give yourself a little handle. And then taking up one of your AA rings, slip it through both of those rings and close. And repeat with a second ring. Hey Dana, good to see you. Okay, so we look like that. We'll take up another one of our largest rings, and we want to put that through the middle, between, or not through the middle, between those 2 big rings that we started with. So between both of them, at the same time encircling those 2 AA rings that we just put in. And we close that up. So you've got this going on. So you just want it sandwiched in between those first 2 rings. Then we grab another large ring We want to feed it through the AA rings on one side of that last ring we just placed. Close that up. Flip our work over to the other side. Do the same on the other side. Hey Amrita, glad you made it. Close that ring up. So we've got 2, 1, 2. Now we put 2 AA rings in, feeding it through the last 2 rings that we placed. Closing it up. Repeat with a second ring. Okay. So you should have a piece that looks like this. The next one we're going to place another large ring. We want to feed it between the 2 big rings that we just have in place already, going around the 2 AA rings that we've just woven, and close it up. Okay. And we just keep working down for the length that we need. You will need to make this a little bit longer than you require, about, 1.5 to 2 centimeters longer. It really depends on the gauge that you've chosen. Some of them sort of squish up a little bit more than others, but you'll be able to work that out. You can just add as you go along. So it's not super important. Okay, so just adding the 2 AA rings. Taking the big ring, feeding it between the last 2 large rings that we've got in the weave, making sure it goes around both the AA rings that we just placed, and we close that up. Okay. Putting an AA ring through the, a large BA ring through the AA rings on one side of that ring there. Flipping our work over, putting one on the other side. As I said, there's different ways of doing helm. This is my preferred way of doing it. Whatever works for you. And I thoroughly encourage you to try different methods until you find the one that fits right with you. Just because I do it this way certainly doesn't make it the right way, doesn't make it the only way. Find your own groove, basically. So I'll just put a couple more repeats of the pattern in. I'm assuming most people here are fairly comfortable with helm weave. Okay, so I'm just going to finish it up there, and I'm just going to put a small ring in there to hold those 2 rings in place, the other ends being held together with the twist tie. Okay, so that's helm weave. So for anybody that doesn't know how to do helm, that's my method of doing it, the way I choose to do it. And now just to add on the ruffles, we want to be placing rings. If you look at your weave back at the beginning here, we want to be placing rings in this eye that's formed by the 2 and 1 rings. So you've got 2 big ring, 1 big ring. In here we want 1 small ring to go in through there. Let's see if you can see that properly. Yeah, it is one of the beginner weaves, Amrita. Okay, so we feed that through. Make sure you're picking up all 3 of those rings. We don't want any of them to be left out. And we close that up. Okay, so your work should look like that. And we want to do that all the way down the length of the weave. So we're going to pop another one in there, one in there, one in there. All the way down the length of your weave. Just taking care that you do pick all those rings up. We want to pick up the 3 of them. Okay, so through the eye again. Oops. These rings are fighting with me a little bit. They are a bit tight, which is why I didn't want to go down the size again. Close. There we go. Okay, and then we do the same on the other side so that we've got a small ring coming out of the other half of that eye. Okay. And place a couple more. So in 14 gauge this weaves up really quickly, as you can see. 20 gauge takes a very long time to do, but it's well worth the effort, in my books anyway. Okay, so you've got something that looks like this, so very much like Celtic Visions, obviously. If you were doing Celtic Visions, you'd throw some rings in here and Bob's your uncle, but we're going to do this a little bit different. Taking another one of your small rings. Hi Rachel, how are you? Good to see you in here. Taking another one of our small rings, we pop that through one of the rings that we've just placed. So go back to the beginning of your weave, and in every one of those rings that you just placed, put another small ring. We haven't started yet.
Where's his sarcasm today?
What video feed are you watching, dude? Alright, so close. I was going to say, am I not actually going out live? Okay, so we've got little legs coming off the side there. That's what it reminds me of, like something with legs off the side. And we want to do that again on the other side of our weave, so just flip it over and do that again. Air conditioning's got a noise in it. Six.
Silver's at the cricket.
Oh, okay. It's like, obviously there's something going on. People are having conversations while I'm not looking, I'm beginning to think. I feel like I'm in a horror show. You know, you look up and they're not looking at you, and you look away and something goes on while you're looking away, and you look back and... Hey, Michelle. Oh, I'm glad it's working for you. Yep, absolutely. That's exactly what it looks like, Shirley, a deformed centipede. What do you think? I think it looks cute, though. Look at its little legs. Oh, look at that. And it's even got antennae. Look at that. There you go. A centipede or a millipede for nothing. Okay, so once you've got that running down the full length of your bracelet, or however far you can be bothered to do it, I mean, you can always do a bit more. We go back to the beginning of our bracelet, taking another one of these small rings. This time we want to join the first two of those small rings that we've just added. So through both of those, and close it up. And then we want to do that again with the second one. Okay. And then we do that all the way down our bracelet. This time we join the second and the third ring up. With two of those. Okay. And third and the fourth. So on and so on down the length of your bracelet. I didn't prep enough rings. And then once you've done one side, I started before you. How are you one step ahead?
Too slow.
And I'm going slow, Stephen. How are you still one step behind? Sorry. All right, so we go back to the beginning on the other side and we do the same on the other side. We join rings 1 and 2. Close it up. And then we do the same with the second ring. Okay, so it looks like that. And then we join rings 2 and 3 in the same way. Yeah, I'm also only doing a tiny piece, not a full piece here, so I'm sure that's contributing. And 2, and then we join rings 3 and 4 together. Same length? Oh, well, I can't help you then, Stephen. All right, so we join those two together as well. 1 and 2, and that's it, guys. That is it. Super simple. As I said, shouldn't be too difficult. So you couldn't see us before, Wes. What on earth did you think we were doing all that time? That's funny. Okay, up you came, Joe.
It's getting vicious in the chat.
Okay, so that's it. I'm sure everybody is fine with that weave. Please do let me know though if you need me to repeat something. So yeah, this one is a little bit sloppier. The 14 gauge, I think it's just a bigger weave. That's the way it is. But the other ones are really, really lovely. As I said, even the 16 gauge is nice. It's a little bit wider than I would like myself personally, but they do make beautiful bracelets. And you can see the thinner gauges, that edge doesn't seem to fall quite as much as it does in the 14 gauge. 14 gauge it droops a little bit. I thought that the chat was a little strange.
Yeah.
Poor Wes. We'll blame it on the heat. But that's it, my lovelies. I really hope you enjoy that weave. It's a really pretty weave. I find it, it's delicate, yet it's not flimsy, which is lovely. Oh, you'll be right, Sharon, seriously. Have you done helm before? If you've done helm before, then there won't be any issues with this whatsoever. The helm part is the trickiest bit. Lower the size of the AA. You could. I mean, it's whatever works for helm, I imagine will work for this, Aileen, sorry, Ace. I keep calling him Alison in my mind for some reason. So you wouldn't be able to go any bigger with the same BA size. You might be able to go a smidgen smaller. Yeah, absolutely. It looks exactly like a garter, doesn't it, Michelle? Especially, I think, with the pastel colours in it. But yeah, I mean, play around with, as I said, these are the sizes I chose. You know, I'd love to see what other sizes people do. Maybe putting a bit of colour on the outside as well as the inside. You know, you can have a little bit of fun with it. This is just a starting point for you guys. Use a bead instead of the AA. You've got a lot of different things you have to take into consideration there. You've got to fit that bead inside the big ring, plus make that hole of the bead big enough for the other rings, the other large rings to go through. But I mean, have a play with it. Calls you Elizabeth. Sorry, I'm just going to call you Ace. I'm obviously you can, Sharon. Okay, yeah, I'd love to see it if you can do it. Yeah, lots of variations, Shirley. As I said, this is just a starting point in my books. You know, take the starting. You know, this is a starting point, and then branch out and do whatever the hell you want with it. It's your work. Break the rules and enjoy what you're doing. Basically, I'd love to see people's experimentations. Yeah, absolutely. If you do make it, we absolutely want pics. All right, so we've still got to do our giveaway. We've finished the weave, but let's do our little giveaway. I might flip this over to the other camera. Okay, beautiful. All right, so what I've got today is a pair of Xuron wire cutters. Now, these were actually sent to us by mistake. If you can see that. These were supposed to be a pair of 90-degree Xurons, and that's what they were marked on the back of the packaging. And it wasn't until we went to send them out that we discovered they're not 90-degree Xurons after all, they're wire cutters. So we've decided to give these away to you guys. So if you're interested in going into the draw to possibly win those wire cutters, we'd like to know in a box of favourites, and if you're wondering what they are, look what my man bought. So in a box of favourites, so this is going to be a little bit backwards to you guys, but oh well. What is your favourite in a box of favourites? Now, you don't win the box of favourites because I'll be eating these tonight. But let us know in the comments what's your favourite in your box of favourites, and we'll put your name down in the draw and we'll assign you a random number, pull that out tomorrow and let you guys know. So just again, it's a Xuron cutter. I don't know anything about it, guys. I'm sorry, because I actually didn't order this. I ordered the 90-degree plier. I've never used Xuron cutters before. I can't comment on what they're like. I'm not even 100% sure of its item number because it comes in a package marked as 90-degree. But my stuff up is your game. So whatever your favourite, Chris has got his arms in the air. What are you so excited about?
Everyone likes Turkish
Turkish delights. I know where I can send the ones that I don't like to eat. Crunchy. I'm really upset with this particular lot because it doesn't have bounties in it. I don't know what the hell happened there. Turkish delight. Oh my god, look at you all. Oh, good grief. See, I eat pretty much everything in there except the Turkish delight and the cherry ripes. Chris gets those ones. And I get everything else. Hey, are your people? Oh, look, Dana likes cherry ripes. Yeah, Freddos are new. The Freddos are new. This, I think, yeah, now with Freddo, it says. That's probably where the bounty went. If it was a peppermint Freddo, I'd be pretty happy with it, but it's not even a peppermint Freddo. It's just another plain one. So that's a little disappointing. My favourite's been taken out. My next favourite would have to be Flake and Dreams. Don't like caramel. Oh no, I love caramel. Too sweet. No. There is no such thing. What the hell is wrong with you people? Send which ones to you, Annette? The Turkish delights and the cherry ripes? Because that's all that's ever left over when I eat them. Next week's giveaways. No, see, Chris eats those. Is Turkish delight actually chocolate? Well, it's a chocolate-covered Turkish delight. How does that sound? Does that better? I don't mind eating proper Turkish delight, like real Turkish delight. That's nice. But yeah, I'm not a fan. I'll eat it when there's nothing else to eat and I really want chocolate. Your wife loves them? No? This is bizarre. You are all weirding me out. This is some alternate universe I'm on here. Woolies or Coles? Woolies? Yep, Chris got them from Woolies today. Boost. Yeah, the boosts aren't too bad actually. I thought they were going to be as dodgy as, but they're pretty good when you shove the whole thing in your mouth and smush it all up. Yeah, there's no such thing as leftover chocolate in our house, Annette. I'm really sorry. Yeah, should have peppermint, Dana. You Turkish delight people are just freaking me out. Seriously. Yeah, pretty much, Joe. Oh my god, another one! Oh lord, I didn't realise this chocolate was so popular.
And you thought I was the weird one.
Oh, yeah, well, actually, you prefer cherry ripes over Turkish delights, though.
Yeah, true. But I don't mind a
Turkish. You don't mind a bit of Turkish delight? Are you sending out the chocolates for the next monthly pack? Not in this heat. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, what a mess. All right. So yeah, I'll let you guys know tomorrow over coffee and quite possibly anything other than a Turkish delight. Who the winner of our Xeron wire cutters are. So Turkish delight ads from years ago, not off the top of my head, Dawn. Cheap chocolate, as long as it's good cheap chocolate, Stephen, I'm down with that. Carob koalas. Oh, I love carob actually. Yum. I do enjoy a little bit of carob. All right, so that's the weave, that's the giveaway, that's the question. So the only other thing we've really got to talk about, obviously, are the changes to the Maille Club. Hopefully, we've managed to clear up a few questions that people had about the 5% and when it started. All the benefits are based on a calendar month. So if you've paid your subscription for February, and all these changes aren't happening until February anyway. February was the earliest this was going to happen. But if you have paid for February, then your benefit is good for the whole of February. So even if you turn off you leave the Maille Club before your next subscription is due, and you're not part of March's, you'll still get the 5% up until the end of February. So the benefits are all calendar month based, just like the kits, just like the the weekly sessions are. They're calendar month. They're not based on your subscription payment. So we've got the first lot coming out Monday and Tuesday. The kits are going out. I've been working on them for the last couple of days. And I'm currently working on the loot bags that will be going out, which is another one of our new things. We'll bite it, then jiggle again. No, I can't remember it. So the loot bags this week have a titanium theme, so there'll be all various titanium pieces going out. So I've been anodizing those today for you guys. So that'll be your little surprise in your loot bag. And like I said, the 5% will start in February. So don't forget our Q&A session, which is week 4. If you've got anything that you would like us to talk about or you think might be a good topic to talk about in our live Q&A session, don't forget to email me or message me your questions or comments or ideas. If you need me to show you something or you want me to show you something, I do need to know about that in advance so I can make sure I've got rings or whatever the thing is that you want me to talk about. And week 4 is our giveaway. So we've got one more week this month, and then will be the new format, and we'll only be giving away prizes on week 4 of each month. But the prizes will be, a little bit more hefty than our weekly prizes have been. Okay, so apparently Chris is watching the girl wiggling and jiggling. Seems pretty pleased about that.
She said the magic words. Apparently it was a Melbourne commercial.
Oh, okay.
So
you don't remember seeing it? Okay, ones with the popping bits. That's those. What are they called? Marvelous Creations or something. Love to see the anodizing at Q&A. That might be a little tricky, Michelle. That's quite a big setup. I don't think we'd be able to actually fit that in. But there's not much to it.
Maybe. See what we do.
Well, we'd have to change. We'd have to change our cameras and everything around to fit something like that in. But that's something we can certainly think about. Thanks, Chris. You remember?
No, I just searched for it.
No, he doesn't remember, Dawn. Google. He Googled it. Are you watching it?
Oh, I can put it on.
No? Okay. I just thought you might have been watching it. Alright, so if no one's got any questions or comments or anything like that, I think we're done. We're good? What is the liquid we had in the container? Water. With a little bit of
I was going to say, it's got
TSP, isn't it?
Yeah.
Soap, basically. If you've got sugar soap, pop a bit of that in the water. Bob's your uncle. Yeah, all that information's out there. It's not difficult. We only anodize niobium and titanium. We don't anodize aluminium. It's a completely different process, full of nasty chemicals and all sorts of bits and bobs that we don't do. All right, I think that's it. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy yourself. We will put the next week's up on Wednesday, as we normally will. All the hoo-ha and everything else. And you're Turkish delighted. Actually, we had Turkish.
That's what it says at the end of the commercial.
Oh, okay.
Turkish delighted lately.
We had Turkish for dinner last night, actually. We were Turkish delighted then. All right, guys, thank you very much for coming along and joining us. Really do appreciate it. We love catching up with you. Don't forget, if you finish your piece, Stephen, if you're there yet, pop that on into Aussie Mailers. We'd love to have a look at it. And any of those variations you guys were talking about, I'd love to see those through the week. All right, we shall catch up with you next week, and I'll see you through the week on Aussie Mailers, I'm sure.
Susie Butler.
Oh, she's no angel.
She's
She's no angel. We know she's not. All right, guys, take care. I'll see you next week. Bye.